Hello, hello, hey, thank you for the heart me. Hey, Maddie. Oh, thank you for doing my rose gallery. Let me pick you out a sticker. Hi, Marcella. Oh, look at this one. This one gonna be for you. Thank you. How are you? Tonight is Monday, which means we're going to be doing our beginner-friendly coloring tutorial book. And we'll be working on the donut page and the apple page. And so these are the colors that I've picked out for tonight if you want to follow along. We're going to do the donut that's like the example. And then we're going to try like a chocolate donut with some sprinkles, y'all. Some sprinkles. And so if you want to pick out some acrylic colors for later. Maddie with the Go Pops. Thank you, my love. We're going to get started. If you're new here, welcome in. Hey, Crystal. Every Monday we work in the How To Coloring Guide tutorial book. We're almost finished with it, which means we're going to be moving into a new book shortly. So if you want to grab this one, go ahead. If you want more information on this one, send me a message and I'll get you that information. But it is so nostalgic because this is where I started with. I did my lives and I can't believe we're almost finished with it. But we're starting in chapter 6. And we are finished with the kitchen tiles and the cheese. So we've got this week and then next week. And then we'll start our skills page. Hey, stranger. How are you, Brian? It's good to see you. I hope you've been doing well. Thank you for the repost. The way this book is set up is you get these elements of a scene and they're individual pages where you get to practice each one. Thank you, Crystals, for the moo and the Go Pops, and Maddie with the moo. And then at the end of each chapter you get a skills page where you can put all those skills together. Amber, how are you? Welcome in. So we just started chapter 6 last Monday, which is this kitchen scene. So we practiced some kitchen tiles and some cheese. I do want to mention, and I'll probably say this a couple of times well, let's finish this out. So we got the donut and the apple. Next week we'll do water droplets and floral pattern. If it doesn't take long, then we may start the skills page. It just kind of depends. But I did want to mention that, you know, some of my videos, I post all my video replays on the WatTube, but certain ones are super fans only. So I post them unlisted, which means you can only view them if you get the link. And I send that to my super fan group. Oh, Lord, I said the forbidden word. Once we start our new book, The Magical Worlds, right now the color along on Thursday is super fans only, but starting in The Magical World, Monday replays will also be available to super fans only, okay? And if you want more information on that, please send me a message. I don't mind telling you all the perks of our super fans. They get a lot of them, and we have a little community. Yes, Crafty Bits and Bobs asked, can you get these books to learn to color? Absolutely. This is where I started. I do this every Monday. We work through these books and it teaches you how to color and put it into these practice scenes. So we had an ocean chapter and it taught us each ocean type aspect. And then we put it into the skills page. So they're very good. I suggest them for beginners and if you aren't a beginner, because it teaches you different techniques that you can try. Hey, Mel, welcome in. We're going to go ahead and get started. If you're following along, this is the first set of numbers. Look at Maddie lighting up that donut gallery. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. You're so sweet. And thank you if you sent a heart me. I'm having a hard time seeing the heart me notifications. So I apologize. I promise I'm not ignoring you. You can get them on, in my bio, there is my storefront. You can find it there on the Zon, or they do have it on TikTok shop. The problem is my main account right now, because I'm switching over to a business account, I can't put other products in my storefront right now, but they do have it in the TikTok shop. Hey Amy, Bon Mon, thank you for the follow. And if you have a hard time finding them, send me a DM and I'll send you my like the LINKs to them where you can find them easier. You're welcome. Okay, we're gonna get started. I'm gonna start with, it says, okay, it gives you the color palette up here. So this is where I've based my colors off of. But as always, you can pick whatever color you would like. It doesn't have to be exactly like the book, and it doesn't have to be exactly like mine. But I do know a lot of you follow along, so that's exciting. I'm gonna start with this RV04, which now that it's dried here, it almost looks like it might be too bright, but we're gonna go with it. And so for step 1, it says fill the donut and the icing with your base colors, your A and B color. So RV04 will be our A color, and then Y49 is going to be our B color. So we're going to get started with that. And as always, if you have any questions about anything I'm using or doing, please let me know. We also have some amazing mods. Amber, if you're still in here, if you don't mind getting yourself pinned. They also can help answer questions. And we're just going to fill this base color. Make sure you're chasing your ink, meaning wherever that last point that you left off, you go back to it very quickly, because the alcohol markers are meant for layering. So if you let part of it dry, then when you come back to it, it's going to get darker because it's meant for layering. There she is. There's our Amber. She is my right-hand woman, and she can help answer any questions as well, especially if I miss it or you need a quicker answer. Then I do try to check my DMs after my live, but they can get you some answers quicker sometimes. Especially if you're working with thin paper, you want to chase that ink. And that the alcohol markers and the brush tip is what's going to give you that smooth. Okay, Amber. So remember I told you in your live the other day that I couldn't pin either? TikTok must be going through updates, and I guess I need to check, because I don't know that I've updated mine. I don't know. Something's going on with TikTok. Let me see if I can get you pinned from here. There we go. Sorry. You know it always goes through some things. I did, Amy. I think I did. Wait. Was it the one in the VIP lounge? Mel, welcome in. Thank you for the heart me. All right. So we've got this nice finish here for our A. We're going to be working on B. Our B color for B, I'm going to be using Autumn Leaf Y49. Yes, okay, I saw it. I did. Toot toot. I loved it. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday, Mel. All right, we're going to do the same thing here. Chase that ink. Don't let it dry. And you want to be light-handed. I think a lot of times, if you're running out of the lines, sometimes it can be too much pressure, and it's releasing too much ink. So if you notice, like I'm just barely touching my paper, because this is very thin paper. It also depends if you're working with thicker paper. And that's why it's important to kind of get to know your mediums and things, because the way that you interact with a thicker paper is going to be different than the way that you interact with thinner paper. Yes, Aaliyah, this is the how-to guided book. It sure is. We're just getting started if you're able to join us. So with this paper being so thin, I'm just barely touching the page and the ink will just run out everywhere. So you want to be light-handed. Yes. Come join, come join, come join. I'm so excited. Hey, Flawless Boo. How are you? You know, I heard you tell your name in Amber's live the other day, and I've done forgot it. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It takes me a couple of times. All right, so now we have this smooth finish on the donut, and that's going to come from using the alcohol markers, comes from using brush tip markers. If you struggle with smears or streaks, it could be the quality of your marker. It could be the you're using a fine tip, or those are used more for detailing versus trying to get this smooth flat color. Hey Kay, I'm doing good. And on Mondays, if y'all are new here, hi, there's a lot of you guys in here. I do beginner friendly tutorials on Monday, and I work through the how-to guided coloring book. I'm actually almost finished this one, and we're gonna be moving into, in August, we're gonna be moving to the You Can Color This. So if you want to screenshot this and pick this book up to follow along, it's a really cute and really fun, and it works the same way. It gives you a scene, you pick out your colors, you work through the elements, and then you get the scene to do it yourself. So I will work through this starting probably if I had to guess, probably the first week of August-ish. Every Monday, it's either 6 or 6:30. I usually let my Discord know. I try to do 6. Sometimes it's a little more on the 6:30. Thank you, Stardust, for the follow. And yes, thank you, Amber, for helping out with that. I use Ohuhu alcohol-based markers. If you look into them, make sure you're looking at the tips because they sell 2 different kinds. They have one with a brush tip and fine tip. And then they have one that has fine tip and chisel tip. And I'll show you what that chisel tip looks like. I think I have one right here. Yeah. So you just want to be careful because if you're wanting the brush tip, you may accidentally buy the one that has the fine tip and the chisel tip, and you might not want that one. So just be mindful when you're shopping. The Honolulu Bees are the one with the brush tips. Yes. Wait, this cover or this cover? This is the one we're working in currently. This is the one we're going to start in August. And if you need help finding it, you can message me or Ahmad. It's in the Discord. I posted it today if you're in our Discord. And if you're not in our Discord, you can message me or Ahmad, and we can get you the pathway. So, you're welcome. All right, the next one says add shadows on the icing and the donut. And so for this, we're going to start with this darker shade, RV29. And it's called Plum Pink. I try to get these colors as close up here as possible. Sometimes it don't always work out that way, so we're gonna try. Hopefully these pinks work together. We'll see. Also, don't forget, another question that comes up a lot is how do you stop your marker from bleeding through? If you're using alcohol markers, you cannot. Okay, alcohol-based markers will bleed through the paper because that's why they're different than water-based markers. They soak into the paper and give you that finish instead of like sitting on top of the paper. So you're going to want some kind of protective sheet under. You're not doing anything wrong. That's normal. Now, if you're using a cardstock paper that's thicker, you will have less bleed through, but it's still going to bleed through. So you always want to use your protective sheet. Some people like plastic ones. They have like plastic reusable ones, but you're not doing anything wrong. It's what they do. All right. So we're going to do this around the edges. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to chase my ink, meaning, okay, I left off this part. So you want to go back really quickly so you don't get these lines in it. And I'm going to work both parts so that I don't get like a streaky line from it layering. Oh, and look, the example has it going around like that. Okay. when you're chasing your ink, you want to kind of work fast. Now, this looks kind of awkward here because this has dry, which is fine. Like, that's what the direction says. So what we're going to do, though, to get it a little more blended is we're going to take... Oh, that don't look good. We're going to take that lighter shade again and kind of blend these edges out to give it that blended circular look. And honestly, it may not turn out the greatest on this thin paper. This practice book has really, 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 really thin paper compared to a lot of the coloring books that you will actually be working in. And I don't really love layer blending on it, but that's just what this book comes in. And with it being practice, it's not that big of a deal. What probably would have been best is to have blended this while it was still wet. But that's just not... It's not what the direction said, and I try to stick to what the book says. Sorry. But when we do our scene, let me show you what our scene looks like. This is our kitchen scene that we'll end up doing. We'll put all these parts together. When we do it on here, that's probably how I'll do it. If this wasn't like super thin paper, blending it like this probably wouldn't be that big of a deal. You just have to layer it a couple times. But this definitely ain't the best paper. But it's still good for a practice book, I think. Also, I think this pink is too bright. I was worried about that. We got Ogla donut. We got some melting icing here. But it'll be okay because we're gonna put a bunch of acrylic on top, so it's not a big deal. Acrylic is your friend. Well, you can work it back and forth, and it depends like what kind of look you're going for. Some people prefer blending light to dark, and some people prefer blending dark to light. What I found is if you want like a more harsher shadow, start with your dark colors and go to light. But if you want more of a smooth blend, you want to go from your light to dark. That's just what I've found and prefer, and it depends on the look that you're going for. But so a lot of this we can cover up when we do our acrylic. Okay, down here, same thing. We're going to add this little loopy loop here for that color. Thank you so much, Shannon and She Glow and K Tall for the follow. Melly, thank y'all. That bright pink is driving me crazy, y'all. Sorry. Okay, Melon Yellow Y29 is a shade that I'm going to use down here for these shadows. Yes, that's one about the more smoother blend, the light to dark. Yes, that more natural look. But when you do the dark to light, I find like you get more of that chunky highlight look, chunky shadow look. Haley, thank you for the follow. Okay, we're gonna add our shadow shades here, right here. Well, one of them. It says add shadows on both the icing and the donut. It's a book. It's a whole book. You can get it on TikTok Shop or the Zon. Unfortunately, I'm in the process of producing a coloring book, and I've switched over to a business account, so I can't put other items in my shopping cart right now. But it is here on the TikTok Shop. I have a backup account that has it in there. It's Moo Moo Ink. And then they also have it on the Zon. Okay, here we go. Amy says, I like the colors. Maybe they don't look as bad on the camera as they do to me in person. I don't know. All right. Now that one I'm not going to blend out. Not going to blend out because it's got this like harsh little line here. And then on the next step, This is where it said had blended. We already did that up here, but it says add the cast off from the icing onto the donuts. I'm actually use a darker shade because that's the E shade, which is up here, the E shade. We're gonna use underneath the icing. It is, yeah, that's right. That's what happened. And what I was saying is they give you a color palette up here. So I try my best to match up here. It don't always turn out the best, but when we do this is why I like that practice sheet, right? Because you get to work out the kinks and figure out what you like and what you don't like when you do the object. And then you do each individual object. And then at the end, you get to do a skills sheet. So when I go to do the donut here, I'll just be a little more careful of my colors and blend when it's still wet. But that's one thing I like about this book is you get to practice it, and they give you 2 to practice on. So we'll do that technique on this one here. We're going to do like a chocolate icing and some acrylic sprinkles. So if you want to follow along the next donut, this is what we'll be using. This is E511 and E615, and then these are acrylic. It is nice. I love it. And like, for instance, the chapter we just finished, this was one of my favorite chapters. It was an underwater chapter. So you got to practice. And this one I'm talking about, the practice sometimes turns out horrible, right? Like, we're practicing, we're learning, we're experimenting. It don't always turn out the best. Especially because sometimes the directions can be a little odd sometimes. Or at least maybe I take it that way. But then when we get to the page and you put it all together, I don't know, it just comes together. So it was really cute. Same here. Here's another page. I hate that I can't pin this for you guys, but it's here on TikTok Shop. And they got it on the Zon. This one was like a night flower scene. Yep. And so that's what we work on every Monday. Beginner friendly stuff, and I try to break it down in a beginner friendly way, but I'm also learning along with you guys. So yes, they have that. If you want to support me, I do have a link in my bio that will take you to my front. All right, we're going to take this Toffee Y215 and we're going to add these drop shadows with the icing. That's okay. Welcome back, Amber. And this is going to give it that nice 3D effect, like the icing is really dripping down the donut. Thank y'all so much for all the love and the taps and everything and the repost. Thank y'all. All right, now we're going to add, and we're going to cover up some of this mess up here. I'm going to take a white acrylic pen. Well, this is more of a, don't let me lie to you. I don't know if it's a gel pen or I need to look in the book. I don't know if it's a gel pen or an acrylic pen. You could use either one. But it came in the Chromuse box. They have a box of 48 colors, and they have a pen in it. And it's been my favorite one right now. But we're going to take that and do our next step. Add the highlights to the icing. You want a larger one in the center, and then streaks on the drops, drippings. I don't know. It's saying dripping. Oh, the dripping edge. Okay. And a few tiny dots. So we're going to do that. I'm going to try to line this up around some of that edge. There. Since I don't love the blending on that. Brittany, welcome in. Thank you for the follow. But you can use whatever white detailing pen or marker that you prefer. It actually really depends on, again, what I'm doing. For something like this, I would prefer probably a gel pen. I have both, and I use them for different situations. My gel pens typically have, now I do have one that's a gel acrylic, and that's why I said I don't know if this one is that or not, but typically my gel pens have the point tip, and my acrylics have more of a brush tip. The acrylic is gonna be actually like paint, and sometimes it's I feel like the gel pens are a little easier when you're having to draw little details like this. And you'll see here though, I'm going to use acrylic for these sprinkles. One thing to keep in mind, if you're using a red or even a dark pink, like not a dark pink, but if you're using a red or a dark purple and you put white on top of it, a lot of time it's going to soak up and turn pink. And I don't know, like, I haven't looked it up to know exactly why. I have a feeling it's whatever they have to use to make it red. Gracie and Tranky, thank you for the follow. So you want to be mindful of that. One thing I've found is if you take a gel pen that's a different dark color and put it down first and then put your white on top after it's dried, that does help sometimes. I was actually a little nervous that it was going to do it on this donut, but it doesn't seem like it's going to. Makes me want a donut real bad. I know. Lord help me. They done put a bundt cake store not far from our town. I've been having to stay out of it, y'all. I've been having to stay out of it. Okay, there's our donut. And we're going to practice this again, but I thought it would be fun to do a chocolate donut with acrylic sprinkles. So we're going to try that. It don't look bad. I still hate how bright that pink is on my swatch chart. Maybe because my swatch chart is faded and I probably need to update it. It looked more mellow. It looked less bright. No, we're not going to giggle gaddle. Tonight is my professional night, okay? We hoot and holler on the other night. Jalissa, thank you for the follow. All right, let's try this chocolate donut. If you want to follow along, we're going to do the same steps. So we're going to use E511. I did not write that 5 on there that well. E511 and E615. Thank you for the love you so much. I was wondering, how did I know it was you that got filtered, Maddie? How did I know? Right? Can I make it a real donut and give it to us? Amber said, don't lie to everyone. Don't put on the professional night. Look, the OGs know that we get crazy up in here sometimes. Myra, thank you for the follow. All right, let's try this chocolate donut. I'm going to go in. This time we're going to try and I had got carried away talking and everything earlier, and we didn't blend that while it was wet. So we're going to attempt this again, but we're going to try and blend it when it's still wet and see how that looks. You're right. You're absolutely right. Okay. You're going to want to work quickly because remember I was telling you guys the alcohol markers are meant to be layered. So if you don't continue after your like last time you touch that ink, it's going to dry very quickly and start layering like within a few seconds. It's going to start with a line like a dry. So instead of coloring this whole thing with our base color first, like the direction said, I'm going to do it this way where we're going to get a little bit better of a blend. This is E511 is chocolate mocha, and then E615 is cherry cola, which is kind of exclusive to the skin tone set. But if you don't have cherry cola, you can probably use maple syrup. All right, I'm gonna start moving into now. Okay, when you're doing this kind of blend, I always tell everybody you want to go a little further than you think you need because you're gonna overlap a little bit. So I'm gonna start with that cherry cola, E615. It's going to look really dark at first, but it should lighten up a little bit. And we're going to start by going over just a little bit. So that way we can go back with that chocolate mocha and blend it. This will give us a better blend. Ah! Not me throwing storm. Just set that anywhere. All right. And we're going to take the cherry cola all the way to the end. All the way out. And the reason I suggest doing it this way, but now you'll see the difference. You do it this way, you're going to get a lot harsher of a shadow lines. You see how you see that just well, and it doesn't help that those two colors were very different. But this gives you a little softer, more natural blend when you do it. Well, it's like a wet on wet blend instead of a layer and blend. So this was kind of more of a layered blend. This is more of a wet on wet blend. So hopefully you can tell the difference. This is going to take a second to dry, where you can see it lighten it up. Lighten up. And there's our chocolate donut. Okay, hold on a minute. We're going to poll. Which donut would you like better? The pink donut, like a, I don't even know what kind you want to call that, or a chocolate donut. I do not make these books, no. This one is by Zigzag Mojo. Can I get my poll going? Let's see. Okay, Happy Face, would you rather eat the pink sprinkle donut or Sad Face, are you more of a chocolate? Oh, look, I'm sorry. I'm having to move my phone to do this because my setup. This is diabolical. Okay, Happy Face, you rather eat like a pink or strawberry donut. Sad Face, you're a chocolatey person. You rather have a chocolate donut. Do you recommend a brand less price than who? But yes, Cromuse. Now Bianco is a good one, but I don't think their price difference is super different from Ohuhu, but I would recommend Cromuse. CHROMUSE. Anastasia, it's on TikTok Shop or it's on the Zon. I'm sorry. I'm moving into getting my own coloring book published, so I'm on a business account, so I can't put this in my showcase. But there is a path in my bio that can take you to my storefront that has it. But it is here on TikTok Shop if you want to look for it. And if you have trouble finding it, send me a DM and I will send you the information. Okay, hold on. Which one's winning? I can't see. Thank you for the moo-moos, Jalissa. Andrea, welcome in for the follow. Okay, let's go for our chocolate donut. Which one won? It wouldn't tell. I can't see it on my setup. That makes me sad. Oh, chocolate. Of course. Okay, now let's go. I'm going to use the same colors here for the bottom of the donut. So I'm going to start with that autumn leaf. Twirler, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. And if y'all are new here, hello, my name is Tristan, and I do beginner-friendly tutorials every Monday, starting about 6:30 p.m. Central Time. I like to work in these practice books where it shows you step-by-step how to do it, and you can follow along with me. A lot of the ladies here in the chat have the book, and they follow along with me. We've actually been doing this book since January, and we're almost finished. So if you are new and you want to start along with us, the next book I'm going to be doing is this one. The one I'm working in right now is How to Guided Tutorial. Yeah, another brand that I would suggest that I have tried that I love, that I think is somewhat comparable to Ohuhu, that are much more affordable, are going to be the Chromeuse. They're here on TikTok Shop as well. If you need the link, or oh Lord, I'm going to get banned because I keep saying that word. If you need help finding it, send me a DM. It's called Chro, CHRO, Muse, MUSE. We'll be starting this one in August. If you want to follow along. This is also on both places, both shopping places. And I'm so excited because it's Magical Worlds, and it's somewhat set up similar, where you get these chapters of elements. So like the first chapter is all about like these creatures, right? And you do like element creatures, but they give you this scene and you get to pick your colors. And then it walks you through, like in detail, step by step, how to color each element. And then you get to practice doing it here. But I like it because the book we've been working in has been more realistic type elements. And I love that this is magical, like magical stuff. Like, look at this. Whimsical, I guess is the word. Whimsical. Thank you guys so much, all of you coming in, and thank you for the follows. Yes, and look, Bree, one thing you want to be careful of is your hand pressure. If you're bleeding out of the lines, go a little easier on your, like you barely touch the page, just barely touch the page. The harder, like the more firm you go, the more ink. Now, if you're using thin paper, which I think the majority of what you color on is thin paper. But if you're using cardstock, there's a whole different technique for that. But look, I was laughing because when I first saw this page, I was like, I don't know if I'm hungry or what, but this looks like a chicken nugget with cheese. Chicken nugget with nacho cheese. Yes, thank you so much. All right, so we'll be starting this one in August if you want to get it and follow along, as we are almost finished with the book that we're working in right now. All right, let's finish our chocolate donut. Okay, we put Y49 down. We're going to use our Y29 melon yellow to do our shadow at the bottom. I can never see melon yellow and not think of, it makes me think of mellow yellow. I always want to call it mellow yellow. Mellow yellow. Mean, Perez, and Marie, the goat. Thank y'all so much for the follow. And if you guys are sending it heart me's, thank you. Sometimes I miss it because of the way our setup is, and I apologize, but I promise if I don't see it now, I see them after during my analytics. So thank you. Yes, mellow yellow. And then Toffee Y215 is going to be our drop shadow to make it look that super realistic look of that icing dripping off. We done put this donut in the microwave for too long. Liver, this is the How to Color Guided Tutorial book by Zigzag Mojo. And we're going to do this right up underneath all of the icing. You're welcome. I work in these books every Monday at 6. Right, I'm a teacher in real life, so 6 o'clock is my summer hours. But once school starts, sometimes I need a little nappy nap after to have the energy to get on here. So a lot of my school hours, I usually get on here about 6:30 Central Time. Okay, thank you so much, Anne, for the heart. We've got our drop shadow for the icing. And now we're going to add our sprinkles in our heart. I still want to do some of this. Yes, it is in my blood. This year I'll be starting my 9th year. I still want to take some of the white. And you know what we'll do, just so you can see the difference. You were asking the difference between acrylic and gel. I'll use an acrylic pen, and they really, I don't know. Hold on a second. I think they're both good tools to have in your collection. If you're a beginner, I suggest starting with a gel pen first. I think they're easier to work with. The acrylic pens, especially brush tip, take a little bit of getting used to, and they're a little harder to get accurate because they're brush tip. But well, I actually am a dyslexia therapist now. I used to I taught kindergarten for the longest time, and then I did middle school for a little bit. And let me tell you, there's no difference. Ain't no difference. Them middle schoolers, they act just like kindergartners, y'all. I'm telling you. But now I'm a dyslexia therapist, and I love it. I love it. So this is going to be the acrylic pen. This is one of my favorite brands, Longwow. So we're going to use that instead. And I do want to add sprinkles, but I am going to do the white highlight around and do the white drip on the side. And then we'll go in and add some sprinkles. So the acrylic is literally like paint in a pen. It's like painting. And you've got your brush tip. Yes, Doreen, I find a lot of beginners, I mean, even myself, kind of struggle with acrylic at first. It takes a little bit of getting used to. But not impossible. All right, now I'm going to use these gel pens. Well, one of them's gel, and then some of them are acrylic, but I wanted to add some sprinkles. And I've got this hot pink for some bright, I wanted some bright traditional, like pink, blue, and yellow. But if you see colorists add these details on top of their pages and it's not like bleeding out everywhere, they probably use acrylic. Well, oh yeah, oh, you're right, Amy, you're right. I was honestly, let's see, I probably won't do too many because of the sprinkles. The alcohol markers are not necessarily, they're not going to get you that type of detail on top and that bright. So if you're getting into detail coloring and you're wanting to do details like this, you're going to want a set of gel pens or acrylic pens. And you'll see this one's a gel pen. Well, it's considered a gel acrylic. I don't know. But either one would work. It doesn't matter, gel pen or acrylic. You can still do the sprinkles. But here's the yellow. The difference with this one is it needs to get warmed up. This one is a ballpoint. And with the acrylic, with the brush tip, you're going to be able to layer those. If you got a ballpoint tip pen, it's going to be very tough. Like once you lay it down, it's going to be tough to go back over because your tip is going to drag through. And you're going to want to warm it up. So like roll it in your hand or stick it in a body fold. I don't know. Something to warm it up. Okay. This is the How to Color Guided Tutorial book. Thank you, Mel, for the heart me. Andy Gurr with a follow. Moo Moo again with Mel with the Moo Moos. Thank you so much. All right, so that's just why I say like it's good to have both in your set because depending on what you do will depend on yes, this is Longwell, yeah. Mel with a blue melody. Thank you so much. Let me get you a sticker. If you're new here, I do stickers for gift gallery and for gifts over $1 or 99 cents or above. Thank you so much for the blue melody. I'm going to write your name down on this and I will get it put in my sticker book at the end after I'm done with the live. So I appreciate that so much, Mel. The blue melody. Because it's hard to say. Like, I just use them for different things. Ooh, a Frog Leash, a community gift. What? What is that? Thank you. Hey, Rachel. It was the white box, Tasha. All right, we're going to do some blue sprinkles. Oh, Amber. Amber sponsored a super fan box. Stop it right now. Y'all, our super fans have a whole lot of perks around here. I'm going to get you a sticker, Amber, for that sponsor. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Look, lucky day. It's going to be someone's lucky day when they win. My super fans get access to super fan only live replays. So like for my Monday night coloring videos starting in August, those are going to be super fan only. And right now we have a color along in the Doodly Bugs book, and those are super fans only get live replay access to that. They also help pick the books that we color here. They do a lot of voting on things. They kind of run things back here, okay? And if you want more information on that, I'll let you know. But they even have their own little area in the Discord, and they help. They do a lot of things. So they have their own little chat area. Alyssa Bree, thank you for the follow. So y'all make sure you touch that box. You get a lot of, like, it's really fun. We also do super fan only giveaways. We just had one for 4th of July, and they love it. They love it. Yes, I have heard that, Mel. Mel says I put a little ball of putty at the end of my ballpoint acrylics. It makes them flow more steady. I have heard of that. I just haven't done it yet. I'm going to be honest. Oh, happy early birthday, Rachel. All right, we're going to add these last little sprinkles here. Because to be honest, I tend to reach more for my acrylics. So, I mean, my brush tip acrylics. So it's just not worth it to me to worry about that. But with this being my beginner friendly night, I do like to reach for those some because I think those are more beginner friendly. Yes, Doreen would like a pathway to the Discord. Amber. Yes, Doreen, Amber, can you send a message real quick on here so I can pin you? Amber can send you the pathway to the Discord. It's free to get in our Discord. There's just a few channels that are super fan only, but that's where you can keep up with everything that's going on in our community. And I put color palettes there. We all share our photos. We share when we go live. So it's really a good. There we go. If anyone wants the pathway to the Discord, you can either message Amber here. She can get to you faster than me, but you can send me a message as well. Oh, who won the Superfan box? Doreen! Woo! Welcome in. Let me write your name down so that I'll message you after the live to send you the welcoming message. All right. So the last thing you could leave your sprinkles like this and they'll be just fine. But I want to add a little bit of a highlight on them. You could even go even deeper than that and do like a shadow on them. We're not going to get that deep, but yes, y'all message Amber and she will get you. All right, I want to use, sorry. This is one thing I like my fine tips to do. Wawa, thank you so much for the follow. I feel like you can just kind of get in there a little easier. We're going to put a little highlight on our sprinkle. Yeah, I have used Get Pen. I actually have several that I just rotate between depending on what I want to do. Yes, they look good. The donuts look good. The chocolate one I like the best. And honestly would like a couple of more little sprinkles. But thank y'all for hanging out with me tonight. All right, we are going to, I usually do 1 to 2 pages depending on what, like this is awful, but I'm so excited to get in the other book. So we're going to do another page. We're going to do the apple page. Hopefully get that dry. I'm so happy, Doreen. I'm so excited for you to do the, maybe in just a little bit, Amber. Sorry, I just saw that. Doreen said, I learned so much from you. I'm so excited that you won that super fan giving. That's so exciting. All right, we're doing the apple. And it gave us 2 to practice on. I've already picked out some colors for the apple. Thank you guys so much for the follow, Lynette. Is it Yoon? I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. Thank you. If you want to follow along for the apple, Karina, Rachel, thank you for the follow. She said never lose hope. Y'all are too much. So I'm going to use some of these same colors from the previous page since we already have them out. The Y49 for this like this highlight spot on there, and the Y212, the toffee, we're going to use for the stem. So we're going to try this color combo on this apple, and if we don't like it, we'll try a different color combo for the second apple. But let me get some of these colors switched out. This is the How to Color Guided Tutorial book. I'm a little nervous to see if that, how that Y49 is going to work on that apple. Okay, let's see. Okay. All right, so Honey Butters, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. My name is Tristan, and I work in practice books every Monday, walking you along beginner-friendly ways, explaining what I'm doing. We do different things throughout the week, though. Tuesdays, I do a sensory night where it's real calm and chill. We listen to an audiobook, and we color. Wednesday nights, I'm usually off. Thursday, we're doing a color-along in the Doodlybugs book, where if you want information on getting the book, again, please message a mod. They can probably get to you faster than me right now, but this is the Doodlybugs book. This was the first page we did. It's not too late. We're going to be working in this every Thursday. So if you've missed the first one, there's still time to get in. But we did this page, and I'll walk you through it all step by step every Thursday. It took us about 4 weeks, 4 Thursdays, and we just started this page. So this Thursday night at 6 Central, we'll be working in this again. And they have a digital downloadable version. So that's why I'm saying it's not too late to get it and follow along with us, because we'll be working in this book every Thursday. When we finish this page, the super fans vote and they pick the next page. And so those are kind of our big nights around here. And now we're going to get back to our apple. But please feel free to ask any questions. I'll try my best to answer. I've been in the arts my whole life, like drawing, sketching, coloring, but I've only been working with alcohol markers since last October. So I try my best to answer, but I'm definitely not an expert. I like working with practice books and learning and all that. So, all right. It says, fill the apple with a smooth base color, leaving a circular yellow highlight on one side. So we're going to be working with A, B, and then, okay, oh, it wants you to go ahead and fill in all that. Okay, so let's start with our stem. I think that would be the easiest. So we're going to use Y215, that toffee. Oh, hold on. I got the puzzle piece. I got to do that. Sorry for the moving, guys. It claims that it detected inactivity. It's wild. Absolutely wild. All right, now we're going to start with, we're going to do the wet on wet blending. So we're going to make sure we work with these colors while they're still wet. For the red, the green, that's a different technique. It's like a stippling technique. So we can go ahead and do the green. I'm going to do this G49. Right, we are definitely active on the TikTok. I'm going to lay that base layer down. But with the reds, this is when you're going to want to have your markers open and ready to go. I always suggest having some kind of marker parker when you're working with multiple colors and you're having to do your wet on wet blending. Now, don't come for me when this yellow don't look right with this red. This is our experiment. This is our experiment. Hey, Franny B. Hello. Welcome in. So we're going to start with this yellow space That's kind of like the highlight. Thank you for the Go Popular. It's going to act as the highlighted spot. And we're going to move into reddish pink, R12, while it's still wet. I'm going to work back a little bit with this one. Ooh. I don't know about that. We can't let that go. That looks like a bruise, y'all. This is a rotten apple. I don't like that. Ugh. Okay, we're gonna move into our darker, our tomato. I hope so. I swear, I feel like I picked out the color that was almost an exact match, but that doesn't look good. I don't like that. You know what it is? I think this is such a dark red, and I feel like they used much lighter of a red, like a pastel kind of. I wonder, let me see. For our next apple, maybe we can try a pastel red. No, I don't think I have. Let's try that on the next one. That looks ugly, y'all. Next. Hold on, let's see. Oh, in real life, it looks brown too. It's a rotten apple. Yeah, well, like I said, it's also like a very dark red. They did much lighter of a like pinky red up here. But yes, I agree. I think we need a lighter yellow, and I think we need some lighter reds too. That's not cute. That's not cute, y'all. Don't eat the apple. Don't eat the apple. And it's almost like, I feel like we almost need like more of an, like almost, Eat the donut. That's what I was saying, Amy, like a yellow orange. I was looking at this sunset orange, but that's too light. But maybe this persimmon. Let's see. Nope. I'm just going to darken this up so that we can recover this. There might not be no recovering this apple. Oh, wait. Yeah, wait. What book? This book? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Is this the book you're talking about? Can you please show the book? This book? I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry about it. Yeah, this is the book that we're working in. How to Color Guided Tutorial Book. Okay. Let's try a different color combo because I don't like that one. Well, I guess we can let's just finish this one and then we'll pick a new one. Someone's screaming about a donut. Well, what color did you use for your yellow, Amy? So it says add the shadow. I want to go ahead and at least practice the rest of the stippling and stuff before we try a new color combo. Add a shadow on the opposite side of the highlight using stippling dots. Just ignore me sometimes. Yes, I'm sorry. Okay. So we're going to do these little stippling dots. Actually, we might just give up on this apple altogether. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it's like that, y'all. Yeah, let's just next. Okay, Franny, thank you for coming in and hanging out. All right, sorry, let me go back real quick and see. Some of y'all were saying some of these colors that we can try. RO12. Oh, wait, is that Fruit Punch? Yes, I think that would be a good one. Fruit Punch. Yeah, sometimes we do just gotta trial and error. You're right. Thank you for the follow. I love my BF. Y59 Marigold Yellow. Let's try it. Yep, and that's why I like that they give us the two, multiple things to practice. And then should we stick with the RO13 for the darker red? Or R112 still? Let's do that. Okay, we're going to attempt to use these. The Marigold Yellow, Fruit Punch, and R112. Let's look at that reddish pink again real quick before we make that decision for sure. Where is the reddish pink at? Fruit Punch. I don't know about that, y'all. Yeah, that's fine. Let's do it. Okay. If it don't turn out right, I'm blaming y'all. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to do my stem again. Y'all just ignore this one. That one does not exist. All right, we're going to try it. We're going to try it. Ah, she said, doesn't hurt. Blame accepted. Oh, I love y'all. All right, here we go. We're going to try it. I think too, like maybe doing a larger spot. I just don't like this style in general of highlighting with the apple. But it is good to try different things. To me, like, it looks good when you have it like computerized like that, but I don't, maybe like Tasha said, the yellow might still be too dark. I don't know. Maybe when we finish it all the way, like, we're going to follow this one all the way through. We're going to put our white highlight, do our stippling, all the things. And we're going to trust the process. I do like the fruit punch better. Well, the only thing I worry about using the blender is this paper is really thin. So if I use the blender here, it's going to start like, it's going to make a mess. We would have to like go and do a whole nother round of stuff. Let's just stipple. We'll add our highlight. And then when we do our apple, on our skills page, it's not going to have I'm not doing a yellow ring. We're not having a worm spot. I do get it though. Like, I've used like yellow on strawberries and stuff, and like, I get it. I just don't like that. We have to experiment a little more. Okay, stippling. Add shadow on the opposite side of the highlight using stippling dots to soften the edges. So we're going to do that. Sometimes we win some and sometimes we don't. And this was just a don't. This was just a don't. This apple was a fail. And I don't mind admitting that. Yeah, I think so too, Sharon. Yeah, that might help. It is the How to Color Guided Tutorial book from Zigzag Mojo, I'm not sure. You can get it on TikTok Shop or the Zon. Okay. We're going to add our, now this might turn, remember I was telling y'all earlier, if you use this on red, it might turn pink. And usually what I do to combat that is I'll use a gel pen that's a different color, like a dark color, and then you could put the white on top, and the gel pen acts like a barrier, and it won't turn it pink. But with this being a practice book, I'm not super worried about it. Well, and like I said, I've done apples before, but okay, this book I recommend to beginners because it does walk you step by step, but I also recommend it to people who are not beginners because you get to try different things. This is not how I would have done an apple before. Well, I haven't tried it. This time it didn't work for me. But my point is, it exposes you to different techniques and different things, and you might be like, oh yeah, I like that. But then you might be like, I don't. And that's okay. Not everybody is for everybody. Okay, so we're going to finish these leaves here. Yeah, so here, I'll show you real quick. If you see how that's turning pink? Actually, we'll do it on this apple because this apple was terrible. A lot of times your gel pens will turn pink if you put them on top of red. So what I found, someone actually, her name was Amy. She hadn't been on here in a long time, actually. She said someone told her that if you put a gel pen, it's got to be dark, and it could be any color. I'm going to use green, but you don't have to use green. It's nothing to do with color theory. I've used other colors before, but if you take a gel pen, so you see how it's soaking up red there? If you take your gel pen and you put it down it has to be gel, it can't be acrylic. It hardens and kind of acts like a barrier between the alcohol marker and the gel or acrylic or whatever you want to use. And you can put your white on top of that and it won't turn pink. Now, if you go over the edges, it might still soak up some, but if you're careful. So we're going to try it here and show it to you. But it's one little hack that helps a lot. Because you can see there, it's starting to turn. It's starting to turn. Just making sure this gets dry all the way. And that actually didn't turn. This pen has been awesome. That didn't even turn as red as some others. Like my Geth pen, it turned super red. My Sophia turned super red. That actually wasn't as bad as it has been. Okay, so I don't think that, actually that doesn't look dry all the way. It's got to be dry all the way or it's going to smear that green. Yeah, the second one turned out is better. I don't know if I love it, but it's a little better. It's still not as good as the donut though. I mean, man. We got to eat healthy though. We're supposed to be eating healthy. All right. If you put your white over, and I'm probably rushing it. Let me use my brush acrylic. It'll do the same. It'll turn pink too, but I don't have to wait for that to dry as much because it won't pull up. But the gel pen will act like a barrier between the red alcohol marker and your acrylic, and it should stay white. Unless, like, obviously I went over a little bit, so it might pull a little bit of white. But yeah, and it doesn't have to be green. I use green because that's one of my darkest colors. It's nothing to do with color theory. It's just that it's the material in the gel. It's the material in the gel. So you can see how white this one will stay and how pink this one's turning. So there's just a little hack I was passing along. You're welcome. You're welcome. Just make sure you use a dark gel pen. Gel pens tend to dry fairly quickly. I would say within like a minute. Acrylic can take a little longer sometimes. It really, I find it depends on the brand. Some brands dry quicker than others. But I like to use the fan because it can take a little bit. And it depends on how thick it is too. If you're doing like really thick layers, that's going to take a while. I would say 1 to 2 minutes. Maybe a little longer depending on the brand. But alcohol markers should dry a lot quicker than that. But yeah, all right. So you can see, I'm going to go ahead and turn the page. But you can see the gel pen works. Yes, exactly what Amy said. Brand and paper can make it really depends. All right, let's go back to our leaf. We didn't finish that. It said we're going to do some stippling up here with our green. I'm going to take my light shade and do some stippling and then go in with the dark shade. You're welcome. And hello all the way from Singapore. All right, stipple. One thing about this book is they love their stippling. That isn't something I do a whole lot, honestly. But this book does use it a lot. Okay, I'm going to go in. Oh, good. Marcella said, I stippled a little red on the yellow and then blended it with yellow, and it doesn't look so bad. Okay, and it says, now you can do this with an alcohol marker, but I'm going to do it with an acrylic because I feel like I can get a much better like line definition. So I'm going to use an acrylic, the gel acrylic. I don't know what you want to call it. It says gel acrylic. Yes, it was a challenge. Yeah, even for me, it was a challenge. Okay, so I'm going to add my little vein details here. If I had used an alcohol marker, I worry about getting better exact lines. And then I also want to use a cedar brown. I'm going to use a cedar. I didn't have this originally, but I just can't deal with this stem not having any kind of like shading or anything. I don't know. I feel like it needs something. Nope, it's not you, Marcella. And the thing is, you know, in the beginning, like the brown is too dark or the yellow is too dark. And it was. I absolutely agree. But you could see like the color up here was pretty dark. But yeah, I don't know. Which I guess it's fine. Like if you look at it far away, like I get the concept and it is kind of cute. But it wasn't for me. We're gonna go back to the donut and have dessert, okay? All right, so next Monday, we're gonna work on water droplets. Again, if you're not in the Discord, send me a Ramada message. We'll get you in. I always send the page that we're gonna do and the information a little bit ahead of time. But we'll work on these water droplets and then we'll do our floral pattern. And if we have time after that, we will start our skills page. We may not, I try to keep it between 6 and 8 o'clock. That way, you know, you're not on here too late. But if you're a super fan, you can always check the replay. Well, actually, back it up. Right now, the Monday nights have been available to everyone. But starting in August, when we do the magic book, it's going to be super fans only. Okay? And if you're wanting to join us in August, we'll be doing this one. We'll be doing this one. Because we are almost finished, guys. I can't believe it. Like, literally, we've done almost everything in this book. That's so crazy, y'all. We've been on this journey. Yep. But it is really nice. And that's why I said sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. Wah wah. It's really a good book. I'm like, I promise I know how to color. Yeah, the leopard print. You're talking about this one? We did Y55, Y59, YR39, and E615. You know, Amy, it would be cool to do it again and just see, because I started this at the beginning of my alcohol coloring journey. So you can obviously, like, that was bad, and then that was a little rough. But it is kind of cool to go back and see, like, how would I do this again? And, you know, actually, Amy, they have a new book. They have this book, but they've got a new edition to where the pages are a little different. I mean, you could follow along fine, but some of the pages are a little different. So it would be kind of cool to do it again. But thank y'all. Thank you, guys. I'm about to head off for the night. Thank y'all for watching. Give me a follow. I will be back on tomorrow. We'll be back next week doing these books. And I love you guys. Y'all, thank y'all again. Have a wonderful night. Bye. If y'all have any questions, just send me a DM and I'll get to them as soon as possible. Bye.